Turn me up, Opie. Okay, guys, let's just get right into it today. Bet. Today, we're going to speak about RE, realistic expectations, guys. Okay? I feel like we're getting to a point in our lives where we don't like to talk about the real because we are incapable of keeping it real. We will rather deal with the doom and the gloom or call it doom and gloom when someone is being realistic about futuristic expectations or even your existential expectations, as opposed to someone feeling hurt or feeling like, why am I going to really be incapable of maintaining what I need to maintain to be successful? Now, keep that in mind. Now, let's embark on today's journey. I lived in the ATL for 5 years. 5 years of my life, which were dismal. Now, why do I say they were dismal? It's because I dated women that was aesthetically pleasing to me, right? I look at a woman, look at the posterior, look at that exterior derriere, and say, okay, this is something that I would like to stir my spoon in that honey. I want to get my spoon nice and gooey. Ooh wee. Now, after I get the spoon nice and yummy, gummy, ooh wee, I asked the woman once I come back to my senses after I finish coming, would you have had sex with me if I was bagging groceries at Walmart asking you, sweetheart, would you like paper or plastic? Would you give me the digits? She look at me and be like, boy, stop. Me no date broke. You know they broke. So why am I dating broke then? I mean, come on, sweetie. Because you older than me. At the time, I like to, date older women because I felt like I had nothing in common with younger women. So I felt like I was the prize, make a six-figure salary, no kids in the cribbery. I felt like women would be digging me, so I felt like I didn't have to do too much. So I felt like, can I get some equality? I mean, all I want is unity. That's a unity. I thought we were supposed to be together on one accord on one channel, but the women would tell me, Ahmed, you don't get it. I date older men that don't mind paying a little fee for the ooh wee. And I'm like, oh, so you're used to dating a sugar daddy, getting sugar money, but you're not a sugar mommy. And they would say, well, man, you know what? That's just the way it is. Fine girls receive things from men. And I would say, okay, so when a woman wants to settle down, because certain women have a proclivity to, you know, live, from what I saw in Atlanta, live with their mothers and fathers, and they would call, hey, little mama, hey, little fat fat, hey, little nick nick, hey, king king, hey, Prince, hey, Junior, hey, little killer man, hey, little killer, hey, little man. They have all these names, and then they stay inside the house until they're 30 years old. And then when they turn 30 years old, the mother says, look, little queen, you and Ray Ray got to get y'all, and y'all got to get a little killer up out this goddamn house. I ain't gonna be raising no grown ass kids up inside my house. So now 28, 29 years old hits, and life slaps this girl right in her face ridiculously. Slap! And then she wants to date someone her age, making six-figure salary. And guess who that fool was? Who that sucker was? It was me. Do I look like a sucker? Do I look like I lick lollipops for a living? And then I said, hold on, sweetheart. Why you think I'm a sucker? And because if I was working at Walmart, would you date me? Right? It's the question that I would ask. And they would have this stupefied look on their chubby checker face. You say, well, I don't know. That's okay. Well, if I was at Walmart working and you asked me for $500, I wouldn't be able to give it to you because I'm still trying to save up for the PS3, not the PS5, but the PS3. So, what makes you think that you're just gonna turn 28, 29 and settle down with someone your age making hundreds of thousands of dollars? It just doesn't work that way. When most men hit their financial peak, they're well above 45 and 55 years old. And maybe that's just what I wasn't getting, at the time. That, you know, these women, have these unrealistic expectations, where they believe that their aesthetics are going to get them everywhere that they want to go. So they feel like they don't have to work equally as hard as a man. Nowadays, what I've noticed is that modern day women, they want all the authority of a man, right? But they want the benefits of a woman and the responsibility of a child. Now let's unpack that. They want the authority of a man, meaning like they want to be able to be authoritative in the relationship. They want to be able to tell you what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. Which, sometimes rightfully so. You know, a woman should be able to tell a man, you're not going to come inside this house at such and such time. It's going to be a lock up on that door. But a man should know not to be playing in the streets anyway, after a certain amount of time. But, you know, when there are certain things, there's certain, there's a line, there's a masculine line, there's a feminine line. So, I believe in the old school ways of if the parent calls if the teacher calls the parent because the child is acting up in school, that's something the mother says, I'm going to call your daddy. And that's something that the daddy comes and deal with. The woman shouldn't be authoritative in that aspect. If the woman is getting abused at the cash register for some unbeknownst reason, you call the man. The man comes and becomes authoritative in that aspect. But modern day women, you know, for some reason or another, are authoritative. Now, they want the benefits of a woman. So you still have to have chivalry. You still need to open that door. You still need to take out that trash. You still need to change the oil in the car. You have to do your manly duties because you're the man. And then they want the responsibilities, of a child. So a woman still wants to be the nurturer of the household, wants to have these things, but and raise the child and grow this child like growing a seed, like growing a seed to become a fruitful flower. Women just have that natural nurturing instinct inside of them where they have to do that. But doesn't it get confusing when they when you need to be the to have the authority of a man, the benefits of a woman, and the responsibility of a child? Doesn't that seem way too much? I mean, that sounds like a conundrum to me. It sounds like too many things just wrapped in one. And I don't know how any human being can be successful in that facet. Okay? So when I say we need to deal with realistic expectations is we need to go back to the traditional ways and have barriers and lines on who are you and who am I. When we're getting into a relationship, what's your role and what is my role in a relationship? I understand love and relationships are built off of flourishing love, and relationships are built off of nurture and off of wanting to be with one another. But relationships are also built off financial responsibility because at the end of the day, we both need a roof over our heads instead of a cardboard box on the side of Highway 95 because life hits hard and there are no GoFundMe's for relationships that end up in a financial catastrophe. That's why we see women out here homeless. Everybody's moving to California right now because if you're going to be homeless, you'd rather be homeless in the sun than be homeless in the cold on the East Coast. And we've never saw that before. We've never saw these beautiful, vivacious women being homeless, sleeping in a tent. That is a reality right now. That is a real reality. So and everybody's having this independent thing. And yes, it's fine for you to be independent and I don't need no man, I don't need this, I don't need that, I'm independent. But let me tell you something, Miss Independent. Life is much easier when you're living off of two incomes than when you're living off of one income. Okay? It's a lot more difficult to maintain life living off of one income for you to have to come home, cook, clean, manage your house, exercise, work out, eat right, shop, do everything you need to do, and then go to work and then make money. And the disquality between women and men's paychecks it's not equal pay. Even though that you're doing the same position, women don't make as much. Women still have to fight and scratch and claw to make equal pay as men. So you end up making under sometimes $50,000 a year. So you may need a man who also makes $50,000 to $60,000 a year. You put that together, that's 110, 120, which still after taxes, you guys are taking home 60 to 70 a year. You're still struggling on that. You're still living in a $1,500 apartment because most apartments require you to make at least 3 to 4 times your monthly salary just to live inside there. And that's an apartment, so you're not receiving no equity or anything like that because most homes that aren't in the ghetto, and you don't want to live in the ghetto where you hear shots licking off every 5 seconds or you hear police sirens, you want to live somewhere nice in the suburbs. Those homes are upwards of $1.5 million. We're talking, you're making 10% of that. So, we need to have realistic expectations of what we're looking for in life. So when you say you're going to be independent, how independent do you want to be? I mean, me, I'm an independent man, but yes, I do want to be married. I do because I know that I can't make it by myself. I mean, I'm going to need help at the end of the day. I'm going to need financial help, emotional help, psychological help, even physical help when I get old enough to the point where I can't turn over to wipe my ass. I don't want to have stage 4 decubitus also. Like, I mean, come on, guys. Like, I think as black people, we don't even think about living to at 65 to 85 years old, where there will be no social security for us, and all the money would have been dried up. Because we think in the black community, the average life expectancy for a black male is 57 years old. So we're thinking, wow, that's odd. 65. I don't even plan on living to 57. Like, imagine me being, imagine me living to see 65 years old until 85. Now, for me to live a life at that stage, for me to maintain life, I would have to make $60,000 a year at 65 years old. I just don't know how that's feasibly possible when I'm not going to be able to walk as good. I'm not going to be as physically active. I'm not going to be as mentally charged because I'm doing the same job as people 21 years old, and I'm not going to be as active and as quick to the uptake. So that's why I'm trying to invest now. But for someone regular, a regularly making person, someone who in a black community, you only make 45,000 dollars a year. If you're lucky, you don't have any money to invest because we're busy living paycheck to paycheck. Because like I said, if you try to buy a house, you have health insurance to worry about, you have car insurance to worry about, you have bills that seem to always pile up and smack you in the face. And the first seems like it comes around every 3 days. It seems like it's the first of the month. You go to sleep, you wake up, damn, it's the first of the month again. It was just the first of the month yesterday. It seems like the bills just never stop coming in. You have student loans to pay, and then you have catastrophes from family issues. Someone gets sick, someone dies, someone needs money for this, someone needs money for that. It's like someone always needs something. That you rarely have any money to save for yourself because you're always in a position where you're giving to someone else as a black person. Like it's very, very difficult. You're already born with nothing, so you're behind the eight ball as it is. So you have to work 10 to 20, 25 years just to catch up to where a white person is when you're born. I mean, so it's disingenuous and it's very difficult. So we need to just have realistic expectations and stop thinking that, we're gonna live in a big house with a white picket fence and a dog and a three-car garage. Those chances get slimmer as you age. Once you start hitting 30, 35, 40, 45, your stock starts to decline. Those chances of you meeting a baller, making that much money is just going to sweep you off your feet. That's just going to come through on a white horse and sweep you off your feet and ride off into the sunset with love and your future is going to be financially stable. It's not. You're going to be having sex with a FedEx guy because that's the only man that you're going to see on a day-to-day basis coming to your house dropping off packages. The same guy that you said you wouldn't dare have sex with for a date when you were in your 20s, that's going to be the guy you're going to have to date in your 50s and your 60s. If you live to be that long, if you live to see that age, you understand? You know, when I was younger, and men, we have that same problem too. Because as men, we tend to think we're the prize because we're 30, we have no kids, we're financially stable. But then what happens? After you get tired of playing around with this girl and that girl and that girl, you start looking for a woman with the bag now. You start becoming a male gold digger, a male thotty. And now you're looking for a woman who's financially stable and financially capable to take care of your butt now. You know? So it's just we need to just have realistic expectations going in, as opposed to playing games and, playing with people, having these unrealistic expectations in life, and then thinking you're going to meet someone your age who just makes six figures and life is just going to spontaneously just work itself out and you're just going to be rich. I'm sure a lot of people who are homeless now on the side of the road never thought that they would be homeless 20 years ago. A lot of women that are sleeping in tents never thought, hey, I will go from being able to go to the bar and have any man buy me a drink to now I'm on the side of the road sleeping in the tent begging people for change. Times are just different now and no one cares anymore. No one cares about people anymore to the point of where they're just going to be willing to help you out. It's just not the way it is. Okay, guys, thanks for listening to today's episode of Realistic Expectations. I'll see you tomorrow in the next segment. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Irene.